Here it comes, a brand new day, but I don't know what will come my way. Rise or fall, your love will see me through it all.
All right, well, hello, Stan.
Hello, Carrie.
Neither of us have changed our clothes since the last one.
No.
But that's because we're doing back-to-back today.
Uh-huh.
So,
although I do have several of these shirts. So it may be a clean shirt. It just have,
but the jeans are the same.
I've got two pair of these.
Okay. This is my only pair of brown
pants. I like certain things, and those are the things I buy. I don't care about variants and having different. It's just, if I like those pants, I'm going to buy 10 pair of them. If I like that shirt, I'll buy 10 of them.
So, yeah, you're like a cartoon character then. Like, like Homer Simpson just has the white and blue, and that's it. And
I'm not sure I like being compared to Homer Simpson, but
I know it wouldn't fly because when I lived in Colombia, one of the things that was important, I couldn't keep track of it, but my wife could, and she would say, "You can't wear that shirt. You wore that to church last Sunday." So I don't know how Lori manages that if you're wearing the same thing.
She doesn't.
It's one of the changes that
honestly,
happened after.
I've probably worn this sweatshirt since the 1st of December, every Sunday to church. And I just make sure it's washed beforehand.
This is one of the things I can look forward to, the change in marriages once we get to how many years married now?
Man, 47.
Yeah.
And over 51 years together.
And at what age did Lori stop dressing you?
She never has. I was born fiercely independent, and I think she's just given up.
Yeah.
There's nothing that she can do to fix me, and she just loves me.
So last time we checked in on you, you were retired.
Yes.
Are you still retired?
Yes, I am. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't really call it retire. I mean, I'm probably as busy as I was at the church. I just get to choose what I do. And so, because you get to choose what you do, I mean, every day, twice a day, for 2 hours, I'm in the barn and looking after animals and just having fun. And then I'm doing other things. I mean, yesterday I cut and split 2 big totes of wood. We heat our house with wood, and part of this off-grid. We're not really off-grid, but we pretend that we are kind of. Mm-hmm. So we heat with wood, and so James and I went out yesterday, and it was stinking cold. It was just I mean, your wife deals with the cold here in Canada. I was having trouble, and I was born here.
I've got one friend who grew up with a wood stove to heat their place, and still has it, but they did put some electrical in as well. Uh-huh. How much wood do you need to heat the house?
I need 7 totes a year. So on a tote are those IBS totes, like 4 foot by 5 foot.
Yeah. And
they're metal cages. And so we forklift them right to the front of the house, and we bring the wood in. But our house is 81 degrees almost all the time. It is warm. It's
What's
like
that
t-shirt.
In real temperature?
No, that is real temperature. You were raised in fake temperature.
No, I know 81's a great pool temperature.
Like, it's got to be what, 27, 26, something like that. It's beautiful. It is warm, and
but can you control, like, if you want it less heat?
Yes, I mean, we can put less wood in. I mean, what you're trying to do is, we only want to stoke the fire maybe 5 times a day, 4 times a day. And so, it gets up to the 80, 81, and then it'll drop down to like 78, 77, and then you put more wood in, but we also can control the draft. Mm-hmm. So how hot is it burning? Mm-hmm. And the room we live in is warm like that. The bedrooms at the other end of the house are a lot cooler. Mm-hmm. That allows for sleeping at night. It's really It is kind of the best of both worlds.
So do you turn it off at night
No.
and put the curtains around your bed
No.
like Ebenezer Scrooge
No,
to keep
no,
the heat in?
no. Because we're old, we're up like 3 times in the middle of the night. So it's like you go to the bathroom, put another log on, and that's kind of back
Are
and
you
forth.
guys all in the same house then now? You and
Yeah,
James?
Lori and I live together.
Yeah.
We've been living together for a long time.
And what about your son?
No, they have their own house.
They have their own.
Now,
Okay.
and they eat with wood too.
Yeah.
So, we need like 14 totes to do both houses. Another maybe 2 totes for the shop. We heat the shop with wood.
So you're not like the Mennonites who do everything old fashioned in their house, but then we'll have some electrical in the shop and in the barn.
That's actually because the law says
Really?
you have to have certain things. Like if you're milking cows, you have to keep the milk cool. So you have to have a cooler, stainless steel cooler. There's things that they have to do.
Mm.
And so what they do is they agree as a community, how are we going to tackle this problem? And sometimes they choose, like, how do you be in business without a phone? Well, a whole group of them will go together and have one phone. And then they'll leave, if you want Bob Holden, press 1. If you want the Wheeler family, press 2. If you
Those aren't Mennonite names.
Anyway,
If you want Weber, if you want Martin, if you
or Brubaker,
Yeah.
or yes, Gasho. Those are the guys that run the sawmill that we use, and yeah. Anyway,
So what's your favorite part of being are you a hobby farmer? Or are you bigger than that? Starkey Productions.
somewhere in the middle. Again, that's finding clarity. Is that I may have a bit different division than my son James does, and so we're working through trying to figure out who are we. So we have the farm together, and then 4 of us kind of run the farm, all with different jobs. I think in the beginning I had more of the vision and where we're and what we're trying to do is kind of hand that off. I once had a friend who was 52, 53, and his father still wouldn't let him run the combine because he was too young. So, like, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
And yet you still want to have your hand. Nick,
Well, I heard you can't let your son handle the dog, or else you lose some chickens.
That's a Rottweiler, and so yeah, we all have different things.
So who are you now? If you're not Pastor Stan,
Oh, I never was Pastor Stan.
lead elder Stan.
Elder, yeah.
You are an elder now, for sure.
I am elderly.
Yeah.
But I don't hold the position of elder any longer. I've actually got this new thing.
Yeah, I'm the elder here.
Yeah. I'm kind of being a sounding board to about 3 pastors right now. And so, I get, 3 free breakfasts a month, and I get to go and listen and hopefully impart some wisdom from time to time, but just really listen and say, well, when we had that problem or when we encountered that, this is what we did. And it's been good. Like I said on the last podcast, there's a lot of these guys kind of feel alone, and they feel that like nobody else has gone through this. And that's the problem of having just solo pastors, that it's unbiblical. It's unbiblical for a reason, is no one guy can carry that. No one guy can hold that. You have multiple elders taking the lead together, working. I get this word now. Not concession, not consignment, consensus.
Mm.
Working in consensus together to find the way. What is God's desire in this? How do we fulfill God's commission in this? And that's a group working together.
I'd say it's one of the amazing things that I feel like I've experienced being an elder, is when we've had decisions to make that I think it's always been a consensus agreement. I don't think we've ever had something where it's like, oh, I feel we should do it this way. I feel we should do it like
Yeah.
somehow we've always kind of been on the same page.
Yeah. Or even, I would say there's times when we haven't.
Not since
But
I've been around.
But we've always
People always agree with me.
We've always talked and worked that out, and that was a culture that was, it was a culture that was decisive. We knew what we wanted to create there,
Mhm.
and I think also it was a culture that didn't have a lot of pendulum swings back and forth, two very different kinds of the consistency of being a pastor for almost 20 years, and then hopefully the next guy being a pastor there for 15, 20 years, is there's a consistency that builds into a direction, versus where the church, when we first came to the church, a pastor would be lucky to last 3 years. Most of them were 2 to 3 years. You had different vision changes, and I even friends growing up in churches like that would say what this pastor said was not okay, the next pastor said was okay, and there was this great confusion. But there was, because we talked so much together as elders and we shared life so much together, there were not very many surprises along the way.
When you talk about the pendulum swing, it just got me thinking about like, life nowadays, and people talk about that with politics. And it's because in Nathan's sermon today, he was on Acts 13, and he was speaking about culture, and I'm trying to think how I got there now. But anyway, I started thinking about us living here and this time and age, and people in other parts of the world who experience persecution, like real persecution. And I was thinking about how we complain a lot about the things going on in our culture. And, I might complain about things at my work. Oh my gosh, they're doing this at my work, and I disagree with it or whatever. And I was thinking about, do people in countries where like they're kind of, well, if you have to be hiding your faith, really hiding because you're safe, you probably don't complain about what new policies are in place or something, or what's going on, because it's like, I don't know, bigger things to worry about. It just made me wonder if it's like, as Christians, when you've been in a country that's, I guess post-Christian, or I don't know what you want to call it, because people debate on how Christian it was before as well, but where things are changing, and we feel this need to like latch on and try and hold on to how things were and complain when things are changing from how we feel they should be. That's hard in a way that people who are under real persecution, that's obviously hard. But it just made me wonder if like they don't, it's a totally different type of hard, like they don't, because they don't have to feel the need to trying to stop culture from going one way. It's already gone the whole way.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, of course they chopped off someone's head in whatever country. That's what they always do when they, we're here. Yeah. Like we're trying to, I don't know, feel like we're trying to turn the ship around or something instead. It's a totally different struggle.
It's interesting. Just read a book by a lady in our church that we're attending now, wrote, and they're Russian. They came over here about 10 years ago. They said they came, it wasn't for economics or a better life. It was that they have 2 sons, and conscription is that just happens in Russia, and the wife said to me, and we're always at war with someone. And so the book she wrote is from her husband's family back from the Revolution, right up until the 60s, almost 70s.
Wow.
And it talks about the persecution. Like the great grandmother was sent for a week or two to cut lumber in like Siberia, and she spent 4 years. A daughter out the door, see you in a few weeks, and not see her family again for, and just in the foreword she said, I wrote this book because there's a reconstruction of of our past, Lenin, Stalin, this idea of making them nicer people. And she said, you really need to know what our country was like. It's called The Grain Crusher, and it's an amazing book. But people that stand in their faith, people that stand in their um, in their love of God and their decision to be morally pure in the midst of all of that, it's just amazing. Just amazing that, and you're right, they have different fish to fry. They're not worried about the color in the men's bathroom at the church. There's more important things.
So how has it been? We may have even asked this last time, but I don't remember. I don't even remember.
Really? You don't remember?
No.
Oh my
I don't
goodness.
remember. What's it like to just, for a long time, you were just attending church? Like at the church you attend now, like you were just in, maybe they don't have pews, but you know what I mean.
We do now.
So it's the opposite of evangel.
Yeah,
where you took the pews out.
To pews.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, it is. I think the last time it was like a fish out of water. It was, I just didn't know what to do. And I have found it so freeing to be able to choose where I'm going to be involved, to what extent I'm going to be involved, and it's left lots of room. I kind of made this decision that I wasn't going to, partway through, because in the beginning I was looking for something to do. Like this, I couldn't, it was like, I've never been to church where I didn't have something to do. So I decided partway through this, I am not going to seek anything. I am going to let God bring my way the things that he wants me involved in. And so like one was like, I'm on a worship team once a month.
Congratulations.
From being on a worship team every week, which I love, but I needed that pacing. I needed that slowdown. I make coffee once a month. So I was up at 5:15 this morning and headed to church at 5:45, was there at 7, and we got coffee ready for like 800 people. Which I mean, that's a different kind of spiritual service than preaching.
Does that mean you get to sleep in on Sundays?
Yeah. Twice a month I'm up really early. But my kids are great. They do the chores, so I don't have to, like, in the early days I was doing chores at like 4:45 and having to leave at 5:45 or 6 o'clock. And but what Lori calls the old farts club, I am part of. So there's a bunch of men, older men, all retired. And so I said to him, one of those my neighbor, and I said, yeah, come over for a coffee sometime. I'd like to get to know. And he said, well, we have coffee on every other Thursday at my house. Like, that's an odd thing to say. We have coffee at once, come. So him and another fella from his church, which I didn't even know he went to church, they were getting together just to encourage each other and pray. Well, that's grown to like 6 people now. And they're all, and the first guy that invited me, his wife this fall just passed away from esophageal cancer. And I'm going like, there's a sense of being there with purpose in supporting these guys. And they're all kind of going through this, I'm retired, what do I do now? is what I'm doing important to God? Is what I'm doing important to the kingdom? Is like, how do I maneuver this? And so it's just been really an amazing, and I stumbled into it. Like I didn't plan on it. So another thing go ahead.
No, so something we were talking about, just you and I earlier, was about you like not knowing how to stop and all
Mhm.
that, and like retirement's hard about that. But I was just thinking, like, you have all these guys talking about what do we do now that I'm retired? But like most of us, I feel like, at least the circles I run in, we're like, I can't wait till I'm retired. Well, now my father-in-law is like having anxiety because he can't. He's too excited to retire. He's been working since he was 8, I think.
Mhm.
And he's like, oh my gosh, working 6 days a week, 12-hour
Mhm.
days for ever, and
Mhm.
it's almost over. Like he's gonna jump out of his bones.
Mhm.
Did you, when you were young, were you excited about one day being retired?
No, no. I
So you were not a
I
normal person
I do
ever.
not. I forget which son. One of my sons said to me, "You actually like working," and I went, "Who doesn't? Like
The
it's a
curse didn't
joy.
work. On the Genesis curse backfired.
Like it's a joy to because I've always seen God behind everything. I mean, that's what born in the country with. I mean, the closest neighbor child was probably 3 or 4 miles away. I spent a lot of time alone. And so there was this I grew up as very connected to God. I didn't know who. I knew there was a God. I couldn't tell you exactly who he was, but I mean I remember being 4 and 5 and sitting in an apple tree praying, just talking to God. That was just my life. And so I've always been excited to do what's ever been in front of me because there's always been the sense that God's in it.
Mm.
And I don't think even though I've had changes and transitions, um, the uncertain part has been very small, very short in its period before things begin to unfold themselves and the next step, whether that's getting married, having children, different job changes, going back to school, being in business, moving into ministry. Like it just seems like the flow was there and God was just opening the next door to whatever. And so here's what you have to look forward to.
When
There's
I become a
usually a
man.
period. No, when you retire,
Oh.
you're a man already. Um, but there's usually 1 to 2 years of an extended vacation, and a guy will just act like he's on summer vacation
Mhm.
for a couple of years, and then there's a sense of I'm kind of bored of this,
Mhm.
and then what's the next step? And then it's this kind of seeking out, like where am I going to put my time and then you kind of fall in love with what it is, whatever your passion is.
And yours was cows.
Cows. I love animals,
Mhm.
always have. I always said if I had the right marks, I would have been a veterinarian.
Mhm.
I mean, and I love surgery. And that kind of thing just intrigues me. That's the part of farming I love. Is so we're doing. I don't know if I should talk about this stuff or not, but
You're
we
famous
do.
for it,
Yeah,
so
we
we might as
do.
well.
I do AI breeding, and so I've learned how to artificially inseminate, whether it's pigs, and I work with a guy on cattle to get. But the genetics behind it and the creative. I just got a speckled park heifer, and that means nothing to you, but it's a short horn
I know it means a cow.
Angus, and it's and then the park breed is in it, so speckled park, and it's just she's beautiful.
Mhm.
I could stand there and look at her all day long, and she just.
Is she gonna be delicious too, or
Well, no.
or
She's a
she's
mama. She's a mama.
okay?
So she comes up. She wants her chin rubbed, and she'll put her chin up, and then she'll take her big old tongue and kind of give you a kiss on the cheek, and like she's just a sweetheart. But um,
And what are your cows for, though? For milk?
no,
Or
we're raising young.
yeah.
So the females that have the right traits we keep and breed them back in. Reason I use AI, one, bulls are unpredictable.
Original AI,
Original
not the
AI,
new AI.
not the new AI. But bulls are unpredictable and they're dangerous. We have a lot of little kids around. Number two, I can select genetics from all over. And the same with the swine herd. With swine, I can pick whatever I want. We're looking at some heritage breeds right now. Gloucestershire, Old Spot. Um, but you find the thing that you love and are passionate about. So I love Jesus. I love animals. And I've always had a soft spot in my heart for men. Men who are trying to live for God or trying to live life and not sure why it's not working out, and they want to know why it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys just um man,
Have you
it's
found those
amazing.
men now?
Oh
That
yeah.
you're because they were coming when you were a pastor.
Yeah. They show up all the
Mm-hmm.
time. Some of them are guys in the church that we're in. Some of them are neighbors. I got invited to do a men's breakfast, an interchurch men's breakfast in Port Rowan, and I don't know, there was like 8 or 9 different churches. I got to speak to 50 guys, just share my testimony and connect with guys in the community. And you know, at a men's breakfast, that there's a handful of strong believers, and then there's guys that are kind of kicking the tires, seeing like, my friend Bob invited me to this, and I'm not, I don't, I go to church twice a year, and so you get to be part of those guys' lives, and then you see each other. We just got a new Tim Hortons.
Oh,
Yeah. Port Rowan now has a Tim Hortons. But you meet these guys and they say hi to you and you connect more, and you get to be part of the fabric of a community. And there's no expectations because I'm no longer the pastor. I'm just one of the guys. And I find it's just freed me up. So it's amazing.
So in some ways it's better for ministry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Would you say that wait, I totally lost where I was going with that. You keep
Sorry.
going. I'm getting old. I'm an elder.
You're not the elder. You're an elder.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. So I've just enjoyed the change of focus. Like I'm not. Okay. Do not think wrong of me, Louisa, but children don't interest me until they're interesting. You know what I mean? Like, wow, to. I love my grandkids, but when they start talking to you and there's conversations, that's where you really get connected. And I'm like, that's just open up. I've got 2 grandsons who are in their teens now. Like one's found the girl, and he's in love, and we're gonna go out next. I think it's Friday. We're going out for supper but we just get to have conversations about stuff. I've got another grandson. He's 15, just baptized today.
Wow.
And I have another grandson who is 6, and he got baptized today. And he just
His brother.
yeah, I want to live. No, it's a cousin.
Oh.
It's just like, I want to live for Jesus. Jesus said get baptized. That means I need to get baptized. So why is everybody stopping me from getting baptized?
Yeah.
And he's just like firstborn, of course. And he's just, life is like this. And he worked through all the stuff with daddy, and it's just great. I get to watch this, and I don't have to be responsible for the whole thing. I get to cherry pick where I belong in his life, and we have these conversations, and so that's even going to get better as he gets older.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just at the interesting. So like the little ones, what do I do with you? Like, how do I connect with you?
Yeah.
And
Like changing diapers.
yeah, no. So that's the part of being a pastor at church. Is metaphorically speaking, you're always changing diapers.
Mm.
It's kind of like the PSW. I mean, it's. But now I don't have to deal with that. I can come alongside pastors. I can come alongside guys who are seeking. I can come alongside older men who are going through the grief of the loss of their wife. And I can exchange and be part of that. And I found that very freeing. It also frees you up from doing to being. When you are in ministry, you're so focused on doing. Got another message to write this week. I'm studying God's Word, and I've got that meeting, and there's this family that's going through a real struggle, and so you're kind of just always doing. And I found this has been like, do you know what I do now? After the chores are done, I go out and 2 hours of chores, and I come back to the house. And if it's a really bad day outside, I can put on Audible and listen to a book. I can listen to a church service through. I can actually feed the soul and become more intentional in being than in doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is like, I've never had that luxury of being able to focus on who I am in Jesus versus what I'm doing for Jesus. And so it's just been
Well, I think it used to be why you liked driving was because that was your one time where you couldn't do anything else.
Yes.
And so it was forcing you to take those moments. And I think I find something similar that I've just noticed that not being as busy as you, but my mind wants to be or something, is that when I get on a plane, I usually drop a whole lot of stress, and it's because I'm forced to do nothing. I can't even, I don't even have Wi-Fi. Like, I have to just be in that moment kind of thing.
So like on a plane, I fall asleep and Lori's going, and like, we're going to die. And like, don't wake me up if we're going to die. I
want to go in my sleep.
I want to go in my sleep. And yeah, I really think that, I'm looking forward to the best relationship with Jesus that I've ever had, and I don't know.
So what would you say God has taught you in these 3 years? How are you different than you were before?
It's interesting.
Where were you wrong?
I've been thinking about this, and this is the teacher in you, and I had the same genes.
I talked about this, the same genes.
Though I've never been a professional teacher, that's been who I am. And I thought the other day, does everything have to carry a lesson? Does everything have to teach me something? Or can I sit and just soak in the moment and not worry about what I'm learning or taking away from this? So I think there's people are wound differently. There's the person who never thinks deep, who everything is on the surface and they just kind of, and then there's the person that is introspective. It's like they've got 20 lenses and they're always, so that's me, always running around and around. Why am I thinking, I think this, why am I thinking this? well, why am I asking myself the question of why I'm thinking this? Is there an ulterior motive? Is there something that I should be that I'm carrying it? And so am I betraying myself? Am I betraying God? And it's like, so there's that kind of so I'm learning that not everything has to carry a lesson. Some things should be and can only be just enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that if there is a lesson and you want to make that a lesson, that would be one of the things that I am learning. I would say,
I guess I wouldn't say that there's a lesson, but I'd say that because you're learning, like you're listening to books at least.
yeah,
Maybe you actually read some too, but
yes,
maybe your glasses aren't doing all the heavy lifting for you that they used to. I don't know. But you're listening to sermons, you're attending church, you're having these moments that there are things just that you're learning through that process
Yeah.
that you're like, oh wow, I'm thinking that
Yeah.
and you're in relationship with Jesus the whole time,
Yeah.
that there's some changes that probably just because of the process of time
Yeah.
have happened.
It's interesting, Lori. I was listening to. I forget the book now.
So you didn't used to forget the book, so that's different.
Dostoevsky. I was reading it, so I now read. Lori said, "Like that's not a Christian book. What do you think? He used a bad word there," and I'm going, "Yes, he did. He didn't curse God or nothing, but it was not something I would
you
use."
farmers use bad words to most of us.
Yeah, I know. That's just very strange. So that's culture again,
Yeah.
right? Culture shapes it. But I'm reading stuff now that you have to do a retired pastor's report in order to keep my license and be recognized as part of the ministry. Every year, I read 40 books last year, or listened to 40 books, a combination thereof. The thing I like about listening is I can be working through more books at a time, and if I fall asleep, I can go back to the last thing I remember hearing, and I can get through a book a lot more quickly that way. But I've been reading Tolstoy, Solzhenitsyn, and Dostoevsky, and
with that Russian one from work, that makes like 4 Russian books this year.
Actually, I've read several by each. So I mean, there's the Russians have a way of thinking and saying things that's totally different than how we put it together, and I found it very interesting how they view life. And so again, it's not I'm learning anything, but I'm observing some stuff. And I'm thinking, if I was to put it that, how would I express what I? So I don't know what God's doing there, but He's put Russians kind of in my life, and a love for some of the. If you get a chance to read Gulag Archipelago,
I read that one.
Yeah, amazing. The one that I'm in right now. A Day in the Life of Ivan, I can't remember, but it's another.
Ivan starts the P, I think.
Yeah, it's another guy who's been in the Russian labor camp system.
But is that one a fictional one based off like real experiences?
It's off of his fictional off of his life. He was put into a labor camp, and so it's just been. It's been an amazing opportunity to just learn, think about life, pursue my wife, like as far as just relationally.
You guys still like each other?
We're absolutely head over heels in love with each other and can be virtually annoyed with each other at the same time. I don't know how that happens. But
did that change with retirement? You're spending a lot more time together than you were busy for a long time.
Yeah, and so we get to do some stuff like Lori Lori's not a cold weather girl either. She likes to stay. Her job kind of right now is putting fire in the wood stove and making sure that the house stays warm.
Mhm.
And so she loves that job. She comes out a little bit to help, but she's like bundled up like the Michelin tire guy and comes out and works for maybe a half hour, and then she's back like into the house. So we do more together. It also shows up more flaws in our relationship, which is good. When you stress things, it shows flaws. Now, you can fatigue metal and see stress cracks and do nothing about it, and eventually it breaks.
Mhm.
Or you can observe where the stress cracks are and work at repairing them. It's amazing how heat welding, if you start in the middle of where the crack is in the middle of the piece and work out, you can repair it. If you start on the edge and work in, the crack just gets worse and goes further and further and further. Very interesting. And I think in relationships, just knowing where the cracks are is not helpful.
Mhm.
But knowing how to bring healing and how to bring understanding. I mean, we continually find those points of disagreement, those points of irritation, and it's part of how I was raised, and my father's influence in me was my dad ignored things. And it was like, as long as there's peace. In fact, our pastor just talked about this morning. Peace at all cost is not just something Neville Chamberlain came up with. Peace at all cost is a destructive thing in a marriage, because you got the person, whether it's a wife or a husband, they won't tackle the issues, the hard things in life. They just want peace in the home.
Mhm.
Men are really bad for this. It's like, just give me peace and quiet and no arguments, and I come here for a refuge. And those kind of guys never dig deep and go, where is this crack coming from, and how can I stop it? Um, Sometimes you have to work on two ends of a crack. You hit the end with weld, and that stops the crack from going up. And then you bring it together and you hit this end, and it's called stitch welding. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there, and then you do what's called a broad band, and then you kind of bring all those little repairs together under one thing, and you now have something repaired. Sometimes in your marriage, it's like that.
So I don't think that was how men always were, unless it's just the stereotypical man that I grew up not wanting to be like. But like that really, I think, painted a picture for me growing up, was you'd see in movies and whatever, like these are what the what this is what a bad husband looks like, and it was like overly critical and uh yelling, shouting, whatever, and not the type who would just be trying to keep the peace. It was like maybe keep his own peace, but it was usually then the wife who was the one that was trying to keep the peace. But I do hear more and more stories like this, and know in people's relationships now of it not being that way anymore. I mean, obviously there's always going to be bad men too, but a lot of men who are just trying to keep the peace. And I'm wondering why, or if you saw that change, because you're a little bit older than me. But
I think it was just hidden better. So you got two kinds of guys. You got a guy who learns self-control early, and guys who do not learn self-control.
mhm.
And the same as for women, it expresses itself a little differently. But the guy who doesn't learn self-control is going to scare everybody into doing what he wants, because he's going to blow up. Typically seen in alcoholics. The whole family tries to keep the peace, because if dad blows,
Yeah.
there's going to be hell to pay for everybody. And so it's like walking on eggshells. And then there's the guy who learns self-control, but self-control to the extent that he never lets the real self out. He's so controlled that he'll lie. And one thing I've always remembered is that all love and no truth is hypocrisy. All truth and no love is brutality. And so I think people kind of migrate to either all this love, and because of love I'm not going to say anything and kind of stir anything up, or all brutality and that I need to be in control.
Mm-hmm.
I need to wrestle this and be in control of this. And so I think that we saw, or what was exploited, is the guy who is not under self-control. I mean, that's why we teach self-control to our boys.
Mm-hmm.
You show me a boy who's sexually out of control. Actually, the boy has never been taught self-control as a 6-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
5-year-old. That's the person who's sexually out of control. They can't say no.
Mm-hmm.
They can't defer. I mean, the marshmallow test, I'm sure you're aware
Mm-hmm.
of that. They never got it.
Mm-hmm.
They never got, there was 5 marshmallows. If I wait 5 minutes and there's only 1 marshmallow, if I get it now, I gotta have it now.
Yeah.
And so you've got husbands like that. And so you've got the guy who's the bully and the guy who's the milquetoast, and somewhere in the middle is is the guy you need.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
You just made me think. I think my puppy would fail the marshmallow test. Yeah, she's having struggles.
Okay.
I don't know. She's self-control is something she's still learning. She's only 7 months or so.
Work it out on a dog before you get kids.
Yeah.
Make sure you can handle the dog. If you can handle the dog, then go to the next
Well,
step.
that's what everyone says. But then when you have the next step, then you have kids and a dog.
If the dog's under control, then the dog's done.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then now you're working on the kids.
Okay. So we've got to get.
But the same
under
fallacies
control.
that let the dog be a little terror will let your child become a terror, and you better work on the dog.
And you can't put the kid in a crate.
That's what they tell me.
Yeah. Well, I always think about with when you got Hattie, right?
Yeah.
And how Benaiah trained her, or helped train her.
In the wrong way. Yes.
Oh yeah? Really?
Yeah.
Well, I remember you telling me that that was one of the advantages of getting a puppy while you still have the old dog.
Yeah.
But
you get the good and the bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so Hattie picked up we're not going to trust people. We want to keep them out of here. And yet the stuff like going out to the bathroom and all that stuff, Benaiah was great for that.
Yeah.
Trained some good things. Then there's some things. So then that's the same as a dad. You got to stop and think, my traits that I haven't dealt with, or I haven't surrendered to God and used wise counsel from counselors how to get, that is a trait that your child's going to, and I can tell you, I'm to the point I'm seeing my grandchildren with some of the things that I haven't got under control. I go, oh, I know where they got that. I know. Oh, they got that from their grandmother.
Yeah.
And really, it's me.
Yeah.
Really, it's me.
And do you find that you're telling your kids a lot, like, hey, oh, by the way, like, here's a mistake I made with you guys. Don't do that.
No. Interesting. One of the books I read this year is living with your adult children.
I think I found my mom had that book.
Yeah, that's a pretty good book. I wish they wrote one on how to be in business with your adult child. That would have been helpful too. But the idea of waiting until you're asked. Sometimes I don't listen to myself, and I would say it's few and far between that I think it's few and far between that I give unsolicited advice. And sometimes now, even if I'm asked, I'll say, do you really want to know? Do you want me to kind of agree with you? Do you want me just to listen to you? Or, and then there's times where I'll go, I know you want my advice, but you're going to have to figure this out on your own.
And
I
why
have,
would you say that?
they're not ready to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Back to kind of the pearls before swine.
I
Not
don't.
that I call my kids
It's not.
swine,
But I
but
don't
there's,
think it's possible to know as the swine. I don't think it's possible to know that, to recognize it. It's like it's all unfortunately always later that you look back and like I wasn't ready to hear it then. You can
yeah.
never be like, you know what, you're right. I'm not ready for that and I need to be ready for that or something.
I have some kids who are more ready to hear that. I almost said the word mature, but I'm not sure that that's exactly it. I have some kids that they are wound in a way that until their hand hits the stove and they go, stink, that hurts. They may even touch the stove a second time to test it out and see, is this really true? And then you've got the other child who's going, oh, you're an idiot. I'm never going to do that. Like they can see they watch the other child and they go like, that's dumb.
Yeah.
And so you've got to, you know, your children, you watch them grow up, you listen to their mom. That was so good. That was so helpful. Is that Lori and I never fought each other on kids stuff with them in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And like Lori would come to me later that night and you go, you know, when you grounded Jen today for 4 weeks, in teenage girl, that's like 6 years. And I'm thinking 4 weeks. She deserved that. Lucky I didn't take her life. And then I'd go, okay, babe, you're probably right. You're probably right. And I'd come back to Jen and said, listen, I think I overreacted. I think I was just either scared or mad, angry with you. And so how about 2 days? And so Lori would help me through those things. There's sometimes with the boys, Lori'd go, oh, you're being too hard on them. And I go, no, I know what it is to be a man. I know what it is to be a boy wanting to be a man. And right now, your compassion and kindness is not what they need. Because I understood that she knew what it was like to be a girl. I've never been a girl. I don't think I'd be any good at it. And I'm just glad I had Lori around for that. And there's times too where she would say, I know what you're trying to do with the boys, but I think you're just over the top on this. And being who I am, I'm kind of like a 0 to 100. Like,
Mm.
let's get here. And she's more patient. Now, today she has sped up, and I'm the person who's more on the long game.
Mm.
Because she'll sit with grandchildren, with our kids as adult kids. And I'll go like, we just keep praying. We're just going to keep praying and trusting God with this. And when we're asked, and it seems the appropriate thing to do, we'll give an opinion. And a lot of times I'll say, now I may be totally wrong here. Or this may not, that it just seems to me that this might be a better way to do it. So you've got to kind of figure that
Mm-hmm.
out. Try when you're in business. And so like with James and I mean, I've been around animals all my life, and he's just kind of new to they're into horses.
Yeah.
I don't understand people. Give me a good motorcycle. That'll get you from here to there. But there's been things lately where I have to try, like, so I'm into selling meat by the cut, like kind of like a butcher shop. Like I want to sell, and he wants to sell by quarters and halves. There's a disagreement there,
Mm-hmm.
and so I can push for my way. I can bring all the statistics and all that, and yet I want him to I want him to hold on to it and be passionate about it. I want him to not be afraid to try new things. And so even in my head, when I go, I don't think this is going to work, I still have to go, I'm not sure it's the way, but let's try it. And then I promise myself I'll never say I told you so if it doesn't work out. Just keep my mouth shut. And so like that's, I don't know. How do we get on that?
I don't know. But doesn't that go both ways? Maybe he's right.
Yeah, maybe he
Maybe
is.
the quarters and halves is.
I mean, it. One, you don't have to have so many we have 10 freezers full of meat,
Yeah.
and it could take us 3 months to sell an animal out. You don't make quite so much, but in some ways, you don't have to handle it. Like I would like to have a store because I like people. I like to connect with. James is like Lori. Like people tire them out. They're more introvert, although they appear at times
It's
as
good
extrovert.
that you didn't feel that way as a pastor.
Yeah.
That would have been tough.
It would have been.
I've been at a church though where the pastor was a huge introvert, but you would never know it from his preaching. That was the strangest thing. He'd get off from the pulpit or whatever, and then he'd be a totally different person. Like, what on earth? I went to talk to him, and
I changed that way. Near the end, I think one age and energy and time, as you get older, you don't get as much, and it takes longer to recover. And so I remember the last couple of years, I'd rather sit and talk with you at the back of the church than be out working the crowd. And part of that was on purpose because I wanted Nathan to do that. Like he was the up and coming guy. He needed to be the guy who people saw, who connected with. But I was so tired by that point. And I think that's 3 years down the road gives me a perspective of just how worn out I was with my mom's death and taking care of her. And that hit me harder. It didn't hit me how people thought it would hit me, but it did. The amount of energy that went out the last 3 months, 4 months, I can't imagine the energy drain on you with your mom's illness taking such a large real estate of time. And for your dad. Like
for him, like he's the primary caregiver. Like for me, life, I'd say more emotional drain probably because and the fear, like it's always hanging there. But I'm not the one taking to appointments. I'm not the one making sure meals are provided for and all that. So I think whereas you had more of that. You were in more of a caregiving.
My father was gone already, and I'm an only child, so there's nobody. And then again, though, Lori came alongside. Lori was she treated my mom, but then she was going through the loss of her mom in the same time period, like that. And I've had some health things. I told you at the church when I was there for the anniversary service, and I remember my heart goes, it's just not I'm not a good dancer. I must not have rhythm. I would not make a very good Colombian. They all seem to have good rhythm. My heart just goes on these wild things. I'll be 170 beats a minute, but I'll have a blood pressure of 70/40 and everything. So what they do is they stop my heart and then restart it with the paddles. And I remember the first time they did it, and I had it done twice within 2 days because your heart just will not settle down. And I remember the first time thinking to myself, I may not wake up from this. And then it hit. I went, you idiot. Of course you're going to wake up. You just don't know where you're going to wake up. Are you going to wake up here, or am I going to wake up in heaven? And so that perspective was just a very interesting perspective to come to.
Yeah. Oh, we're being told that we should wrap things up, I think.
Well, you are the rapper. I mean, I could sit and talk to you.
I'm not a rapper.
All day. And that's, I enjoy your podcast so much when you do put them out, which I really
maybe we'll
hope,
do that some more.
Yeah. And like I told you the last time, like if you're looking for somebody to come and be another person to be part of that, anytime you want me to, I'd be glad to be part of connecting with other guests and things. So anyway.
Yeah, we'll do it. Well, thank you, Stan. And thank you, Rebecca, who's left the room now, though, for getting this. She's actually the reason this all happened today. She, I think we mentioned last time, got in touch with me and got in touch. We see each other every Sunday. Said, we should do this again. But remember, don't end your day without a word with God. Did I say it right?
Oh God, your word to me, you're making me all that I need to be. Your word, oh God, means